Now I am going to discuss one of the important questions, that is Chaucer's art of characterization. I hope you can see. So I am just go through line by line. You can also go through the whole note and then short it down, cut it down as per your wish. So let's start. Characterization is the process by which the writer reveals the personality of a character. The writer has two options by which he reveals the personality of his character. First one is direct characterization, which tells the audience what the personality of a character is, and the second one is indirect characterization, that shows things that reveal the personality of a character. So there are two types of characterization. Indirect characterization can be done through speech, thoughts, actions, effects of characters on others, and looks. Chaucer was the first notable creator of characters in English literature. He had no model, so he created his own style of character portrayal. In his work, The Prologue to the Canterbury Tales, he has painted the whole of English nation during the 14th century, ranging from knightly classes to the order of clergymen. Next stanza. He is the first great painter of characters in English literature. The character sketches are brief yet lucid and comprehensive. Both the in and out of the characters are depicted in such a superb way that the entire personality seems moving before the reader's eyes. It is in fact Chaucer's unique, rich and original art of characterization that has enabled him to delineate memorable portraits. His art of characterization is specially marked by three things, namely realism, types and individuals, and wit and humor. The third stanza. So in the second stanza we have noticed that there are some features of Chaucer's characterization, and in the next stanza we elaborate these qualities. So third stanza. First major quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is realism. He is very realistic in the portrayal of his age as well as his character. His realism is particularly evident in his The Prologue to the Canterbury Tales and and comprehensive picture of the English society of the 14th century. The pilgrims whom Chaucer describes in the prologue are the living characters. In the great drama of the social life of the period. In this way, he realistically describes the social and religious condition of his age. Chaucer's pilgrims belong to different social ranks and positions, secular as well as religious. The pilgrims represents the important strands of the English society in Chaucer's age and elevate the poem to the level of national portrait gallery. Thus, Chaucer makes the Canterbury Tales a great human document containing a clear and comprehensive picture of the age. He succeeds wonderfully in making the poem a lively picture of his own century, of his own time. You can omit this part as I have done. I have omitted this part. So next stanza is this. The summoner arraigns those accused of violating church law. When drunk, he ostensibly spouts the few Latin phrases he knew. His face is bright red from an unspecified disease. He uses his power corruptly for his own gain, is extremely lecherous, and uses his position to dominate the young women in his jurisdiction. In exchange for a quart of wine, he would let another man sleep with his girlfriend for a year and then pardon the man completely. So here is the summoner. You can note it down, also note it down if you want. This tells about the friar. Next is the next. Another important feature of his character is wit and humor. Chaucer remains one of the outstanding humorists in English literature, and the Prologue bears out his genius as a comical author. The Canterbury Tales is deemed as a great comedy of human society, and this is particularly evident the way he presents his characters. In fact, the Prologue reaches the height of a grand social comedy in poetry. The comic effect is finely achieved by his wonderful sense of wit and humor of the English social life of the 14th century, but also as a delightful comedy of human life. In the prologue to the Canterbury Tales, first he talks of the bravery, skill, experience, and grandeur of the knight, but later on he tells that the knight is very gentle in his behavior and harmless to anybody, and of his port as meek as is a maid. He describes physical appearance of the reeve humorously in the following words. Full long were his legs and full lane like a staff. There was no cliffy scene. Next stanza, where it depicts about third quality. The third quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is his use of irony and satire. Doctor, summoner, and pardoner, miller, shipman, physician. No doubt most of the humor Miller is based on comic touches, but there are some characters that have touches of irony and satire, but he never tries to be sharp and bitter in his attitude. Almost all the ecclesiastical characters except the pure person are presented in a mocking style. The doctor loves gold, especially for gold in medicine is a cordial. The shipman has been called a good fellow, but actually he is rascal. Thus we can say Chaucer uses irony and humor as tools to disclose the absurdities and hypocrisy of the characters. Fourth major quality of Chaucer's art of characterization is that he is away from superficiality. He does not depict his characters with superhuman qualities. That's why even his ideal characters are not far from reality. The knight and the person clearly resemble the characters of the real world. Dryden also says Chaucer's characters are still remaining in mankind and even in England, though they are called by other names. To sum up, we can say without any hesitation and fear of contradiction that, like Pope, Shakespeare, and Milton, Chaucer is the master in the portrayal of his characters, and above all, he is a realist and delineates his characters as he sees them. It would be just to say that that never before in English literature had there been anything like this company of real unidealized contemporary men and women, and there was to be nothing comparable again until Shakespeare began to write 200 years later. So that's the end, and that's for now. This is the note. Please do like, share, and don't forget to comment. If you have any query, please comment, please let me know. So bye bye.